Hey, what up, my dudes? We got old Flow Mac. Is it gonna be his last year? Whew, I don't know about this one, boys. So, if you didn't see the information that came out, Tomac did actually respond to people asking him if, with this whole, this super motocross, whatever the, dude, I don't even know what it's actually called. Is it super motocross? I don't know. SMX, is that what it is? I don't know. SMX, super motocross, moto super duper cross, bro, whatever the heck that thing is, okay? I'm just not used to it, bro. All these years of having just Supercross and then Motocross, like a separate thing. But anyways, so I know a lot of people were kind of wondering, is that going to change Tomac's plans? Is that going to make him want to race the Motocross series? And he actually has come out and responded to that. And he said that that hasn't really changed his plans. He still just plans on doing the Supercross series, and that's it. So, I know this may shock some people just because Tomac is on such a run right now. He had such a good year in 2022, my dudes. But I can totally understand it, man. He's wanting to go out on top. He's starting to break all these kind of records. He's the Daytona daddy now over Ricky Carmichael. He can actually pass Ricky Carmichael. He probably is going to pass Ricky Carmichael on the all-time wins list in 2023 Supercross. I feel like if he does that and he wins the Supercross title, he's just going to retire right there. He's just going to take the gloves off, retire, hang the boots up. Amazing career, you did it. You know what I'm saying? But the only thing that I think would change his mind is if somebody like beats him straight up in the Supercross championship, like either, Jason Anderson or Sexton or somebody like that. If they go in there and somehow manage to beat Tomac in the championship, then that might kind of light a little bit of a fire underneath him to continue and race like the outdoor series and then maybe even Supercross in 2024. You know what I mean? But that's what I think is going to be the big difference maker. Definitely let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this one. Obviously, Tomac has made a drastic change in everything since his Kawasaki days. He had all those championships that he should have won, especially that one against Dungey and then the one against Anderson. Like, Tomac really should have like double the amount of Supercross championships that he currently has. But at the end of the day, I will say he did start to figure his shit out. He stopped having those weird little crashes and blowing his pants off and all that kind of crap. And I'm really surprised by that. Out there for the longest time, I didn't really think Tomac was ever going to figure that part out. I thought he was just going to be like a loose cannon, really fast, but like never really be able to get all those points at the end of the championship. But he really has changed all that around. He's a smart racer now. He races for the championship more than just just trying to get a win or something like that, And so he's really developed himself and kind of snuck himself up in all these different stat categories and wins and all that. I mean, it feels like all of a sudden like Tomac is, the absolute best of his generation, and it's not even close, It's not even close. So I would love to see Tomac race outdoors and really be able to be the first, super motocross champion or whatever. I really thought that particular thing would have changed his mind a little bit just because he's so good at outdoors, and it the first year of them doing something weird and different like this, I figured it would have changed his mind into go ahead and racing outdoors and trying to become the Supercross and Motocross and Super Motocross champion, you know what I mean? But it doesn't seem like that, at least at this point. So we'll see what he does, man. But Tomac's not stupid. He knows that Sexton's coming on strong. I mean, good Lord, Tomac barely won that outdoor title. He knows that Jason Anderson's still there. He knows he's got Jet Lawrence coming up through the pipeline. I mean, it's going to start getting to that point where it starts to change over to that completely different generation of dudes. You know, it'll be like Sexton domination or, Jet Lawrence dominating. And I don't think Tomac really wants to deal with that. You know, it's one of those things. It's like, I think Tomac still completely has Chase Sexton covered on 2023 Supercross. Obviously Sexton proved to be bad to the bone in outdoors in 2022 Lucas Oil Pro Motocross, but Sexton hasn't really proven to, really be able to hold it together and win a bunch of Supercross main events and really, collect a bunch of points in Supercross to really be there in the championship at the end. He hasn't really proven that yet in Supercross. He's had a lot of good Supercross races, but a lot of them he's crashed out front. More times than not, it seems like Sexton has had the get out front and then crash than he has actual wins or really being there in the points at the end. And I don't care what anybody says, outdoors is just different than Supercross. It's just different. And I'm not saying Sexton's not going to figure it out in Supercross, because I'm sure he is, but I feel like Tomac already has it figured out. He's already got it. You know what I mean? And I also feel like Jason Anderson already has it figured out in Supercross. And so, I honestly put Tomac and Jason Anderson a little bit above Chase Sexton, specifically in the 2023 Supercross series. But anything past that, Sexton could totally win, and he could even still win the 2023 Supercross championship. But I just think that would be kind of more perfect case scenario for Sexton, whereas it would be more just checking off the boxes for Tomac, right, to win the 2023 Supercross championship. And it's just different. I think the stress level and the excitement level and the racing just has a different level to it in Supercross than outdoors. And you got to remember, in outdoors, there was no Adam Cianciarulo, there was no Malcolm Stewart. Or was there Malcolm Stewart? Shit, I can't even remember. Maybe Malcolm Stewart raced outdoors? I don't know. I know he usually skips outdoors, but point being, though, is there's going to be a lot more dudes up there at the front in Supercross than there was in outdoors. For some reason, that seems like if you get a couple of those guys that can really get a lot faster in outdoors, it's like they just pull the whole shot, get out front, and then nobody can touch them. That's pretty much what Tomac and Sexton did in outdoors. But that's not really how Supercross works, It's a lot harder to get that start. You got a lot more dudes right there, hitting you, bar banging in the second and third corner. You got the Barshas and the Roxons and all those kind of dudes up in there. Ferrandis got hurt in outdoors, So I just don't subscribe to that idea of since Sexton almost won the outdoor title, that automatically means he's going to go win the 2023 Supercross title over Tomac. I just don't believe that. I think that's kind of foolish almost to think that. It just really is. I mean, yeah, Sexton's bad to the bone, don't get me wrong, but Tomac and Anderson are more bad to the bone when it comes to Supercross currently. They just are. They've proven more in Supercross. They're both already Supercross champions. They were both the best in Supercross just this last year, And so I feel like the one thing that might hold Tomac back just a little bit is the new bike. But I don't think that's going to really affect him too much in the long run. It just may make Tomac not be quite as far up there in the first couple rounds, but then he'll start clicking. But I think it's going to be a little bit of a shell shocker to Chase Sexton because the last time he was really on the gate, he had that feeling of like, well, shit, nobody can even touch me. I'm going to get 20 seconds ahead of everybody other than Tomac. Like, I only really have to worry about that one guy. You know what I mean? And there were some rounds he didn't even really have to worry about Tomac. But Supercross, it's just a different animal, and I think that might catch Chase Sexton off guard a little bit when he doesn't quite get the start, and like there's, you know, it's like Tomac, Anderson, Webb, Roxon, Barsha, you know, a bunch of these different, Cianciarulo, let me just go down the list here, Christian Craig, Ferrandis, I think Justin Cooper's supposed to race some of the rounds. Jet Lawrence is supposed to race some of the Supercross rounds. So it's going to be a different level of competition, including with being on smaller tracks. You can't quite get as far ahead of everybody. There's a lot more bar banging, close action. You know, Sexton's going to have to really be able to handle his shit when it comes to pressure, and, you know, everything's just bumped up to a bit of a different level in Supercross than outdoors, and it just is what it is. It literally just is what it is. And you kind of saw that too with, like, Jason Anderson did so good in Supercross, but then he didn't really do the same thing in 2022 outdoors. You see what I'm saying? It's the same kind of difference. Just because Chase Sexton did really good in outdoors don't mean he's just going to jump right over. And it's the exact same comparison because, like, Jason Anderson was basically the second best guy to Tomac in Supercross, but then he was not even close to that in outdoors. And he's never even really super proved himself on the 450 in outdoors. It's the same way with Sexton. Sexton was the second best dude to Tomac in outdoors, but he's never really proven himself in 450 Supercross. So, you see what I'm saying? It's kind of that same comparison. I could see Sexton being like I mean, yeah, he's going to go out there. I feel like Sexton is going to cause a bunch of fireworks. He's going to pull some hole shots. He's going to win some main events. But I don't really see Sexton, like, just being this super favorite for the championship. I'm not necessarily seeing that yet. But time will tell. But I think Tomac is just getting to that point where it's like, bro, I've pretty much done it all. He's won the Supercross championships now. He's got the outdoor championships. He went and proved everything that he said he was going to do on the Star Yamaha. He's just kind of done everything he's needed to do. You know, he broke Ricky Carmichael's record at Daytona. It's starting to get to that point where it's like, what else does Tomac really need to do to prove himself? He's already done it. So now he's getting to that point where he's got these real fast dudes starting to catch on, like Sexton and Jet Lawrence coming up through. So I don't blame him. I really don't blame Tomac at all. I think it's a good time for him to kind of step away, because the worst thing he can do is stick around an extra couple of years and then just start getting beat straight up by Sexton in outdoors, or Jet Lawrence in Supercross, or whatever it is, you know, or Jason Anderson in Supercross. And then he would have to retire basically as more of a loser at that point versus just retiring now like the top dog, you know? So it really, when you think about it, it makes all the sense in the world that Tomac, this is pretty much going to be Tomac's last year. It makes all the sense in the world, you know, and they've got, you know, Justin Cooper on that Star Yamaha, kind of already got a guy to take his place on Star Yamaha. You know, even though I know everybody wants to see Tomac stick around, I mean, I know a lot of these top dogs like to go out on top like Carmichael did. You know, they really like to sort of sign off on their career in a good way versus I'm getting beat kind of way. You know what I mean? So, but either way, man, Tomac's, he's the top dog, bro. He's just the top dog, bro. But for how long, bro? You know what I mean? For how long, man? Them other puppies are nipping at his heels. So, either way, man, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. I'll see you boys on that next one. Later, dudes.